Monetize your business assets with Dr. Liddy. Dr. Liddy is a renowned world-class attorney. She has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, USA Today, and the New York Law Journal for her work to protect small businesses and small investors. She presented a TEDx talk in London on what the original purpose of corporations was to do public good and what went wrong. Dr. Liddy has a BA from Columbia University, MBA from New York University, JD from Fordham University, and a PhD from University of Barcelona. Corporate executives hire Dr. Liddy to train employees to be more legally mindful in their employment transactions. The United Nations hire Dr. Liddy to instruct small to medium-sized enterprises across the globe on the laws that impact their businesses. Dr. Liddy has spoken at business, law, and tax conferences, from Amsterdam to Bogota, to Cape Town to Los Angeles to Paris to New York, to Barcelona to Miami to Warsaw to Costa Rica to Germany. Dr. Liddy designs legal structures and financial systems for entrepreneurs who are frustrated and disappointed that their business has not been as profitable and successful as they expected. By teaching entrepreneurs how to use the leverage of law, taxes, insurance, and estate planning, entrepreneurs can be 10 times more profitable and successful so that they can build wealth and create a legacy to pass on to their families.
I heard there was a secret legal code that David knew, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care about the law, do you? It goes like this: the law is good, the battle king composing, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I am Dr. Liddy, the good lawyer and the good business coach. I want to spend a little time speaking with you today about what I call V4. And it begins with your vision, your value, your visibility, and your valor. I want to tell you a little bit about my story, and I hope it is okay with you that I begin at the beginning. So I am the daughter of an Episcopalian priest, and also he happened to be an attorney. And my dad was what I would call a community lawyer. He helped everyone in the community. He helped the butcher, he helped the seamstress, he helped the vegetable store owner, he helped the dry cleaners. And his office was the front porch of our house. So you can imagine that every day when I came home, there was usually a group of people at the front porch listening to him, asking him questions, and he would advise them. And he never asked for money directly. He would say, if what I've given to you today is of value, please leave something in the bowl so we can share it with the church community on Saturday and Sunday. And that's how I grew up, learning at my dad's feet. And one day I came home and Dad was not there. And Dad never showed up at the house again. Now, my mom was beautiful. She was brilliant. She was an artist. She painted these lovely paintings, and she was a poet. She wrote beautiful poetry. She was also a physicist, but no one hired a woman physicist back really in the 1970s. I don't know where NASA was, but they didn't contact mom. So for me, I was born in the Caribbean, in the island of Dominican Republic, and I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, very much like Alexander Hamilton, born in the island of Nevis, really grew up in New York City. So I learned at a very young age, I was 9 when this happened, when dad never showed up again, that without money and without people willing to truly help you, you lose everything really, really fast. And my mom lost a house very quickly. And we wound up at friends' houses, at neighbors, at family, but eventually we really wound up in shelters. And we stayed in shelters for a long time. The church is primarily the place that we would go, but we will often wind up in city shelters as well. And you get one cot per family back then. And my mom got the cot, so I got the floor. Little Liddy got the floor. And I was scared, I was cold, I was lonely. I missed my dad. And I would cry myself to sleep almost every night because I was so sad. And I would begin to sing because singing brought me comfort, and it still does. And as I sang, you could hear other people around the shelter singing along with me. And it was just a little beautiful memory for me. And I want to share that song because you will find that I like to sing. One, it makes me happy, but two, I find courage in my songs. And I hope that my songs touch you as well to gain more courage than you could ever imagine that one person could have. It's all within us. So the song I used to sing when I was a little girl in the shelters, and please join in if you know this song, is "This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. No matter what they say, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine." And it was the most beautiful sound to hear the other homeless people singing the song for hours. It just kept bouncing around the room. And that brought me comfort. Then one day, I got a scholarship to Columbia University. And they found out while I was filling out my award letter, it asked for my address. And I put down the shelter, the church's shelter. And they couldn't believe this. And they immediately gathered together and something changed. They got my mom a small apartment on campus for me and her. Isn't that amazing? And I watched this, I said, oh my God, how blessed am I? And I want you to begin to believe, if you don't already, that things can change in an instant. In an instant, you're healthy. In an instant, you're sick. In an instant, you're homeless. In an instant, you have a place to live. And the flow of life is never certain, but it is a journey that we are compelled to ride. So for me, the challenge as I was in college was not so much to work, but that I was broke. I had no money, and the wealthy students had a lot of things that they were able to do, and all I did was work. I worked everywhere. I worked at the front desk at the dorm. I worked at the library. I worked. They called it work study because you're supposed to be studying while you're working. Well, I was working while I was working, and that was a gift. because the parents that came to see their kids recognized that I was always there working, and they felt more confident and comfortable with me and trusted me with everything, with money, with clothing, with food, with special notes for their children. And one day, one of the parents said, Liddy, where do you work? Because you're just such an amazing person. And we would like to thank your supervisor. And I said, well, you can write a note to the school, but this is my work study. I have to work here at the front desk. And they said, really? And they said, don't you own a business? And I said, a business? I'm like, no, 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 no. So parents at the Columbia University taught me how to start and operate and sell a successful business. So what was the one thing I knew how to do? They said, what's the thing you do the best? And I said, take care of others. They said, great, that's a babysitting service. And we've got some other kids at home, so you can watch them. So how much do you want to charge? I said, I don't know, $5. They're like, absolutely not. It should be at least 50. I'm like, $50. And as time went on, $50 became 100, became 200. By the time I left, I was $300 an hour. And because the demand was so great by other families that wanted a trusted person to leave their little children with, I wound up hiring 15, 17, maybe at one point even 18 college friends of mine to do the same thing. And I got a percentage of everything that they did. Years later, we sold that business to a Swiss company. And that's when I learned what real money was really about, that it wasn't how much you could earn, it was how much you had the ability to have others earn that are in your structure. And that's a lot about how business works. How do you multiply yourself? How do you multiply the work? How do you multiply the money? And that is something, unfortunately, we're just never taught, right, in school. We're taught to do what in school? Come on, say it with me. Become an employee and work for someone else. That's the American structure. So to step out of that, you've got to do something different, something unique, something fascinating, something that they don't teach you in a classroom. And that is what we are here to do. We're here to teach each other about the things they're not teaching you in school, because then you'd go out and be a successful business owner rather than becoming an employee for someone else. So what was the challenge for me? The challenge for me is I didn't know that there was an alternative other to being an employee, i.e. becoming a business owner. And it took someone to tell me, to show me, to implement it for me to accept that I can do this. And a lot of what we do with Dominionaire Life is that we teach each other how to do the things that we don't know how to do to become successful business owners. We have a host of training with regard to how we do that. I handle the law. Why? Because it is my heritage. 14 generations of my lineage were both priests and lawyers. I am not a priest, but I am a lawyer. And my gift is I have the ability to process that information that we call legalese and make sense out of it for others and create processes for you to be able to benefit from the law. We call it legal training within Dominionaire Life, and I run that division in terms of protecting your original ideas. We call that intellectual property. We are the only country in the world that in our Constitution, the US Constitution, we put in that every man has the right to protect their creative original ideas. We call that copyright. It is the right to copy. You have the right that is given to you by the federal government, and you can give others permission, transfer that right for them to copy your stuff. We call that licensing. So I train on these things within Dominionaire Life. And we have other fabulous people that train on money in terms of your finances, that train on mindset in terms of getting your mind right. And I say that not to be funny, but to acknowledge that oftentimes there are things that we see or that people teach us that just leads to nowhere. It leads to you being sad. It leads to you being demoralized and not being confident. So, what do you do in those moments? So, when we came together, when amazing Steve and Scott and we came together, it was to build something different, something that would empower individuals and families to dream again. We stop dreaming. We just go to work. And the ability to dream is so powerful. The ability to see what is not immediately in front of us, but it is coming, is amazing. And when I was a little girl, there was a song that I absolutely adored that helped me dream bigger dreams, even though I had nothing. And that song, and if you know it, come on, sing along with me on this one. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. And they do. We've stopped believing in our dreams because we've had so much failure that we don't think our dreams are valuable. So that leads me into my first V. V1, you have value. You don't have to believe me. It says so in the holy book. You are so important to our Father. So lovingly, He created you. And somewhere while we are living our lives, we fall into the trap of believing that we're not valuable, which is a fallacy. It's wrong. It's incorrect. But we believe it nonetheless. You are valuable. You are so important to Him. But you've got to believe in yourself as well. I can tell you as much as I want to every day how valuable you are, but until you believe it, it'll never take root. It'll never be grounded. And sometimes you need to surround yourself with good people. So Steve, Scott, myself, we are good people. We value on doing good, which is why I'm Liddy, the good lawyer, because there's some bad ones out there. I know. Please don't start saying, I know. I've experienced some myself, and I choose to do good. I choose to use the power and leverage of the law to do good and not evil. That's a choice each of us has. So your value is important. We need your value in the world to elevate our human existence, to do some good for others. How can you do it? As simple as giving a sandwich to someone who asks, as simple as working on your business to really make it successful, as easy as attending training so you empower yourself with knowledge so you can be a resource and a value to others. So value, you have it, share it. My second V that I love so much is vision. What is our vision? What is the vision that you have for yourself, for your family, for the world, for your business? Only you know that vision. And one of my favorite sayings from the Bible, from Habakkuk really, is when God told one of the prophets to write the vision and make it clear upon tablet so those that read it can run with it. For the vision is not for now, but it is for the appointed time. Wait for it. It shall come. And when I first read that, I had no idea what that meant, right? So write the vision and make it clear on tablet. What tablet were they talking about? I guess back then it was clay tablets. They baked them, they put a little pencil mark. I mean, I can't read the Egyptian hieroglyphics. But isn't it interesting that we have a product now that's called a tablet? Actually, I'm taping this video on a tablet. Isn't it interesting that centuries ago that God talked about make it clear upon tablet, and here we are in the year 2022, and we've got tablets that we make things clear, video, right? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it powerful that our all-knowing God knows these things? So the vision for you is to write it, create it, bring it forth from your spirit, the thing that touches you the most, because that is your gift and it's meant to be shared. It's meant to be clear on tablet. So those that see your vision can run with it. Ah, isn't that beautiful? That even though you created, others can see it as well and will know what to do with it. That is vision. My third V that I want to share with you today is about visibility. I am horrible with visibility. People are shocked when I say that, but I don't do all the things that I should be doing with regard to putting my vision, my value out there for the world. I'm not really that visible. I'm not really on social media. I struggle with that, but I've asked Dr. Tina Ramsey to help me with that. So she said, great, Liddy, we're going to give you a podcast and we're going to give you a streaming television show. And by the way, her CTR media network reaches like something like 350 million people around the world. I'm like, what? This is my client, and she's now telling me. So, and I spoke to Steve about it recently, and we're going to do some more visibility with Tina. With Dr. Tina. When I first met her 2 years ago, she was Coach Tina. And I said, girl, go get your degree. And 2 years later, she is Dr. Tina. I love it. I absolutely love it. See the vision. And she is such a wonderful spirit. And I mention her specifically because visibility is something that we could all strive to have more of. And it's important to have it with good people that care about you and care about the message that you bring to the world and care very much about making sure that we're adding value to the world. And I love working with my sisters of faith. It is simply a powerful presence to be in when we come together and create amazing things. So your visibility, is it that you speak? Is it that you write and you publish? Is it that you are on Facebook or on YouTube? Get it out there. Let people know that you are here. And again, I do a horrible job at it, but I admit that freely. I need to do a better job. But I can imagine that many of us need to do a better job of being visible and sharing what we stand for, sharing what will help with what we need help with and what we will help others with as well. So visibility is one of the areas that I think is very important for us to focus on a little more. And there are tools out there and people out there that make it easy. And my last V for us is valor. And when I say valor, people often say, oh my God, what is Dr. Lydie talking about? Well, for me, the simplest definition of valor is courage beyond knowing that you will succeed. It's the confidence that you step forward, not knowing where the next step is going to take you, but knowing that you have to take the step. It's trusting in God that your steps are guided and measured, and you are courageously walking into any situation, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that the Spirit of God infuses everything that you do, and that you are valiant. You stand for good. You stand for good people, for good things, for good knowledge. You take a position that you do not back down from because it's yours. It's your vision of what can be. And there's a whole army that stands with you, good people around the world that support that valor that you have. Understand when I say valor, oftentimes you're going to walk alone. I know I say you will have an army, and then I said, what? You're going to walk alone. Well, the army will come, but they'll only come when they are convinced that you are convinced that you will stand strong in your courage. Then they come forward. So if there are things that you care deeply about, stand for them. If there are people that you want to support that others are not supporting, support them. And know that your presence of standing firm in that belief will show the way for others to stand with you. So my work around the world focuses primarily on what I've shared with you. I use law to bring value to people. I use the law to bring vision to people because they don't know what they don't know. They can't see what they don't see. I use law to bring visibility. I argue cases in court. I do arbitrations. I also set up businesses. And I help people to sell them and fund them. I do all that fun stuff for me, but I know that I do these things because I saw my father do these things for others. So we are all part of a lineage. There's a history that comes with us, whether we know it or not. It comes with us, and it is imbued in our very cell structure to make us who we are today. Good or bad, it is who we are. And valor. So much of what is happening or what happens to us is without valor. No one courageously steps up on our behalf. You have to be the person that steps up on your behalf and behalf of others that you care about and causes that you care about. And which is why I love Dominionaire Life, because so many of us, Steve, Scott, myself, we stand up for others and each other. And that's a beautiful collaboration to have, knowing that you're not alone, that you're never alone. You've never been alone, and you never will be alone. Just because you don't see people doesn't mean they're not there in spirit and support of you from miles and miles away. So I share these things with you because I want you to know that you are important in the plans that unfold for your business, for your family, for our futures. And I want you to know that Dominionaire Life was created for people just like you that wanted a different way of life, that didn't want to worry about money because you're working on your business and that's bringing you the money, because there's training for you to learn and excel, because there's good people that have come together to say, let's band together to make a difference in this world for other people. And if you can hear me, then you know that what I am saying is true. You know that there's a vibration when people are doing good things, right? Some people get hot, some people get trembles. I get happy. I love it when people do good things, and it hurts me when I can't help everyone. And I know that. So I choose, right? When things come in my path, will I help? And if I can, I do. And sometimes I simply can't, not because I don't want to, but because I don't know how. And I think that's a lot of us, right? We don't know how to help sometimes. So I want to share two thoughts. One is the Mayans have an ancient saying that says, if it is to be, then it is up to me. If it is to be, then it is up to me. And I've adopted that as my own personal philosophy. I'll go first in many situations, not knowing sometimes what the end will be or not knowing exactly what to do, but to know that my presence is important. And I'm so sorry that I can't be with you today. If it was anything other than a medical situation in my family, I would be on the ground with you, as I like to say, boots and stilettos on the ground. But I will be there next time. And I am here now. I'm not far away. I'm a phone call, I'm a text message. Oh, by the way, text message, I meant to share with you. I promised that I would give a gift to you. So on your cell phone, if you send a text to 26786, 26786, and if you type in the word law, LAW, I have a gift for you. It's an infographic of a copyright, meaning it's a picture of what the copyright process looks like. I am adamant about all of us copywriting our original creative ideas because they're good ideas that are worthy of protection and monetization. But the monetization part is for another discussion with you. So I want to say that I believe in you. I believe that there's a pathway for all of us that leads to goodness. And that means locking arms with each other at times and stepping out on our faith and strongly declaring that we are people of faith, we are people of God, and we believe in good business for everyone. I am Dr. Liddy, the good lawyer, and may you always remain as blessed as you are now. Until we meet again, please stay safe, please stay inspired, and please stay absolutely marvelous.
So come join her, monetizing you and your business at a select with Dr. Liddy today by visiting drliddy.com